Well, hi there. This is H. Victoria Hargrove Atkerson. I am an author and a writer, and I have just recently completed my last book, which is not my last book, my new book. It's not going to be the last. I have many, many, many books to share with you yet. So, my latest book is Enslaved, and I think you're going to love this book. I love the cover, and most people who see it are really taken by it. It's wonderful, wonderful piece of artwork done by my brother Louis Charles Hargrove, and he lives in Atlanta, Georgia. He's a March Brown graduate where he got his degree in art. So I thank you, I thank you, I thank you for that gorgeous, gorgeous cover. I think it depicts this story very well. The story, Enslaved, starts out uh, talking about life in Africa, because I think one of the things we miss when we are discussing our past and slavery is as if our life began when we landed here on this continent, and that's not so. We have a rich, deep, uh, centuries old culture that we were taken from and imprisoned, shipped on these awful ships that crossed the Atlantic during the Middle Passage. Just remember, Africa is one of the richest countries on earth. That's where we came from. And the traditions, the culture that existed there, which was frowned upon by people from European countries, was a rich culture, whether they knew it or not, because it was acclimated to that climate and to the people who were among the original people of the earth. So that richness we brought with us. We did not leave it behind. And the reason that Europeans came to Africa to kidnap, steal, and to enslave Africans was because we knew how to cultivate cotton. We knew how to grow rice. We knew how to grow tobacco. These are things that made America rich, and our people are the originators of these skills. Okay, so we discuss in the first part of this book about life in Africa and what happened to these main characters, which is an African princess and a member of her royal guard. So you'll discover in this book their entrapment and their forced entry into the slavery system. A great deal of this book talks about the Middle Passage and some of the horrors and degradation, the cruelties, and the sexual abuse that happened on the ship. So we get to look at the characters who manned the ship. We get to see the sailors, the slavers, because sometimes they were not the same, and also the ship's captain and other characters on the ship. So you get a feel of what that ship, what it was like being on that ship. And more importantly, you get to see what it was like being in the hold or in the belly of that ship, chained to that shelf that they allowed a person of African descent to exist in for 8 to 9 weeks. To be in chains that amount of time, just imagine the toll it took on your body and your spirit and the conditions that were there. I did a lot of research, a lot of extensive research, reading captain's logs, reading notes done by ship's doctors and other seamen who worked on these ships. And that information, by the way, is in your public library, so take a look at it. And a word about librarians. I love them because they are a fountain of information. Please check out your local librarian. You'll be surprised at things you can learn. So, Enslaved is a capsule of what happens to these two people, these two Africans, an African princess and a member of her royal guard. And we follow them into slavery in America, and they end up separated in two different places. So we see what their lives were like in this system of of bondage. So here we go. This is a wonderful, wonderful cover, and I thank my brother again for the concept and the wonderful artwork. I think he did an excellent job. Now, one of the things I think I did mention before, when you are thinking about doing a cover, you can do them yourself, or if you have someone who is talented, like my brother, you can commission someone to do the painting for you. Or there are ways to do photographs. I've seen magnificent photo work where people stage it themselves if they don't have a company behind them. I'm a self-published author, so these are things that I have done. Luckily for me, my family is extremely talented, and I was able to tap into those talents. And also, let's see, I have one here that was done by my nephew, Larry Anthony. That was Walking Among the Cut, he did this one. So we have many, many talents in my family, and this is one of them. So take a look at that. So once you decide on what your cover is going to be, the next step would be to get it ready to place it on the cover itself, which is a process that I learned is not that easy. But you can do this yourself, and you can go on YouTube, where you are now, and you can look at videos on how to format your cover. So take a look at this and drop me a line. Let me know how you like it. I think you're going to like the storyline because it's just as dramatic as the real life adventures of that enslaved Africans had to put up with doing their voyage, and then afterwards being sold on the market, and whatever the circumstances were. You get a good look at that lifestyle and that situation and the difficulty, the humiliation that happened to humans, and you can kind of gauge where we are today and how those years have affected us in such a tremendous way. One of the things I want you to keep in mind, though, that one of the things these people dreamed of was what we do today, to be able to read and to write, which was forbidden during this time. So it's very, very important that we remember that as we are reading and as we're writing documents. And I invite you to do some writing of your own. Write your family stories. Or if you think you're a good storyteller, put those stories down on paper and let's get them published. It is a treasure to be able to do this for our children, for the many generations to come. So I invite you to come and do that. Now, before you go, please like this channel and also subscribe to my channel. That way you'll know when upcoming broadcasts are being made. You can push a little bell. They will ring you whenever I post a video. So it's really easy, folks. Come on. Subscribe. I need those subscriptions. And please tell your friends about it. It's a great time here. And help me launch this great book. I think it is just absolutely beautiful. And it's a wonderful story inside, which is going to keep you really fascinated for a while. And it'll probably prompt you to do some research of your own. So you have a great day. Be good to your family. Be good to your friends. And above all, love to you.